Hi, what's up? And welcome to an extra tutorial on how to create an FPS game. And this one goes a bit off topic, the first-person shooters. And I want to just talk to you a little bit about 3D models and the difference between 2D and 3D and computers. Since the next tutorial, I'm gonna show you some very advanced stuff called animations. And I want you to understand a couple things about 3D models before I can actually explain to you what we're doing with these animations. So first, let's start off on the difference between 2D and 3D. So I have two programs here, right? One is 3ds Max, and the second one is Paint. Now, when you look at a 2D image, let's just draw a person here, right? Take a brush. Select this color. Alright, has a giant head, a leg, and then two arms. Alright, now look at how many perspectives we're looking at this person from. Right, only one. Now, the main difference that I see between 2D and 3D is the amount of perspectives. See, if we wanted to see this person from like a side view, then we'd have to draw another image of him. So you have to draw him from the side. Then you see his hands like this, and his leg is stepping a bit forward. And so that's the difference between 2D and 3D. For 2D, if you want to create a game, you have to choose what perspective you want the player to see your game from, and then create all your images and all your graphics from that perspective. But in 3D, you can change the perspective, and you have a whole new world of depth in your computer. And I think it's all thanks to the computers, but there's much more complicated processes and tricks that are being done on our brain and through our eyes to make us think that this is a 3D. This is actually a 2D object in physical life. What we're seeing here is 2D, but the illusion the computer gives us makes it look 3D because we can change the perspectives and see it. So our brain translates that. Also, if you notice the lighting effects, there's brighter here and darker here, which gives us the illusion that this is farther away or like dark. And so, you get what I'm trying to say here, that there's a major difference between 3D and 2D, and it's mainly in the perspectives. So, so that's the kind of advantage I see in 3D programming. That you don't have to stick with one perspective. You can always look at the game from wherever you like. Alright, so now after you've understood the main difference between those, I want to talk to you about this program called 3ds Max. If you don't know what it is yet, it's a program for creating 3D models. Now, 3D models are 3D shapes, as I already told you in the past tutorials. But what their attributes, what's different between a model in Unity, which is not really a mod, more like an object, is vertices. See, in Unity, you create a box just like you do here, give it some height, and then that's it. That's all you can do. You can maybe rotate it and move it and scale it. Alright? But in 3ds Max, you have another thing called vertices, which is literally changing the shape of it. So let me just put a modifier here, edit poly, so you can see. I've just clicked the vertices, and now here it shows us the vertices. Now what vertices are is basically what holds the model together. There are planes here. This is a plane, this is a plane, this is a plane. That's why when you'll zoom in, that's kind of a bad way to zoom in. Let's just go like that. Like that, I think. Well, never mind. Whenever you zoom in too much on a 3D model, you'll start to see into it. That's because it's all made of planes connected by vertices. Vertices are just points where the planes meet. And so if you move this vertice around, hold on, my computer is really lagging right now. Alright, so you see if I move it around, it changes the shape of the planes that make up the cube. So what we basically know from this is that first of all models and 3D objects are made of planes. Second of all, these planes are connected by things called vertices, which define the shape of the object. Alright? So now think about how many vertices this big model has. If this cube only has 4, and by the way, I can add more to it, but that will kind of change its shape. See, if I put 5, then yeah, it gets like bugs. So it's better to define, the amount of vertices you have at the beginning. But let's look at this model for a second. This model is a ton of planes, a bunch of planes. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see it's like flat here, flat here, flat here. That's because they're all different planes, and I can even show you the vertices here. If I just select the actual object, hold on, I know what I'll do. Unfreeze all. There we go. Now editable mesh. That's it. This is how many connecting points this model has. And if I move each one of them, you see what it does to the mesh? It literally changes its shapes. So yeah, that's a little lesson on 3D models. And now that we got clear what 3D models are and how they are made, I'm going to talk to you about animations. Alright? So now what you see here, whoops, I forgot to return that. Right. So now what you get here, let me just freeze this guy. Free selection. Alright, so now I can't select him. Right, so what you see here is basically a 3D model that the vertices that make up his hand are bended around the rifle to make it look like he's gripping it. See, in actual life, he's not really gripping it. You can see there's even no colliders, but no one can really see that, so we'll let that go. So what we have here is two 3D models, one of the gun and second of the player, which you can't select. And what animations do, animations have 4 modes, alright? One is movement, so you can move one is movement, where you select the entire object and just move it. So that's also a part of animation. 3 is the rotation. You can have a rotation of an object. Yeah, it does that. Right? And 3, the scale. Right? And then the last one is the changes of the vertices. Right? So this appears as different bars on the animation bar right here. Now I won't get into that, but I just want to show you how these work. Alright, so I'll give you a quick demonstration of how to animate. So let's go to frame 70 and click auto key. Alright. So I want you to see here. So I start from frame 70. On frame 70, the hand is this position, right? And then on frame 75, it's this position. So what the program will automatically do is it will fill in all the frames of where it would supposed to be if I actually told it each frame. So that's pretty neat, and you can even see if I make it even further, then the differences between each frames are greater. So yeah, that's basically how it works. And then once you define each point, how he is on each point, you can actually get a nice animation of him walking. Well, not nice, but yeah, I told his foot that at the beginning it was here and at the end it was here, and then the program filled in all the frames in between. So yeah. And now you see only black bars here because black bars indicate changes in the vertices, while green bars indicate changes in the rotation, I think. Red bars indicate changes in the movement, and yellow bars indicate changes in the scale. So yeah, that's the basics of animation. I hope you understood it. If you didn't, that's fine, because I already animated this model for you, and pretty badly, I might add. But yeah, plus the gun, don't worry about the textures. I got textures for these models. So that's what I'm going to teach you in the next tutorial. I'm going to teach you how to incorporate these animations into your game. So, if you want to get a character walking and you didn't know how to do that before, well, now you know it's done by animations. So, yeah, so I'm going to teach you how to put that in your game. So that's all for this tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.